Hello, hello, hello. Tacoma Comics here. How's everybody doing? Just gonna wait a little while to see if people stop by tonight. It's a tough night. It's cold out, man. I joked to my wife I was gonna go put the the heat on. That ain't gonna happen. But it is cold out and chilly. Got a few comics today, and I got some bullshit to go over, so we'll just see how we're doing, who drops by. If you're in the chat, say hi. And like I said, we'll get started in a few minutes. Got some comics to go through. All right, so by a little shop near me today. Only got 3 books, but pretty excited what I got. First, they had a copy of Static #1, the newsstand edition, which I thought was really darn cool. I don't know much about the character. Started to read a little bit of it. Apparently, this was a cartoon first black cartoon superhero, and then they made a comic book about it. DC did in 1993. You've probably seen the more familiar direct edition where he's standing up straight, but this is the newsstand edition. It's a totally different cover, like 100% different. So that's what I thought was pretty cool about it. And the next thing I had, and I've seen this in their stacks several times before, and I never actually pulled the trigger, but they had a copy of Sandman 6, which they had, it was kind of cheap, and I just thought I'd get that. Hey, Lisa Noble from New York, man, it is late. How you doing? But then the one that I really got, sorry, I have a little bit of OCD. When things are out of order, I go a little bit crazy. Oh my gosh. I could not have done this wronger. 8, 7, 8, 9. Oh, because 10 is somewhere else. I don't know where 10 is. 10 is the first appearance of the guy who's supposed to be the villain in the Sandman TV show. All right. Now that was all confusing, I got 6. And I got a copy of 8, which really, really excited me because, as you know, 8 is the first appearance of Death. The guy had it listed at 60. I talked him down to 40, which I think was fair. Might have even been overpaying. It's a really nice copy on the front. It might be a thing or two wrong with the oh, okay, gotcha. So you might be wired then with the spine, but on the back, right at the top by the Batman, there's a rip there. So that significantly dings the grade. But yeah, otherwise, it's a nice comic, man. Sandman. So I've got like 6 through 12 and then a good chunk in the middle now. It is a series I would like to complete, but don't know if I'm going to. So there is definitely going to get the keys, and now I definitely got to find out where I put issue 10. I think it's over there, not over there. I have different piles of I have piles forever in my room of comics here. But that's just how it goes. So the bourbon tonight is bullshit because we're not drinking bourbon. I just didn't feel like doing some bourbon tonight. So I've got my little Lagunitas, little something something ale, which is one of my favorites. 64.2 IBUs. How do they measure a 0.2 of an IBU? That's insane. OG, I can't remember what it stands for, 1.076 and 7.5% alcohol by volume. It's a real kind of deep, brown, sugary, sweet, thick ale, and I like it a lot. One of my favorites. So yeah, I got those 2 Sandman, and I got Static, and that, believe it or not, is it. The only other thing is I got a package in the mail from Great Success on IG, who always does these crazy IG sales. Didn't get too much of note, and most of it's stuff that people have seen before. But the one thing that was kind of cool was this. I really had no idea what this is. I just saw that it was a 10 center, and I don't have much old stuff, and it was cheap enough. I mean, it's not like a big comic. It's not great condition, but just it's from 1959, which makes it older than me. It makes it 61 years old, which I thought was just kind of really, really cool. Really digging that cover, 150 million volts, and somehow that's going into the car. Apparently, this is like a comic that's from like a Catholic ministry or something. I'm not exactly sure. Inside, there's several stories. Some of them are religious in nature, some of them are not. But like, it was a really weird comic once I started reading it. But you know, it's pretty good. So did that, and then one thing I did do today is I had a nice chunk of time in the afternoon. My wife went out shopping, get some lunch. The kids were playing their video games. I got to read Once and Future by Kieran Gillen, Dan Mora, and Tamara Bonvillain. I wonder if it's Bonvillain or Bonvillain. I always say Bonvillain. If you don't, hey Chad, what's up, my friend? If you don't know this, it is basically a retelling of the Arthurian legend. A grandma and her son are fighting to stop an evil King Arthur coming back and crossing over into this world from the other world. And the way Kieran Gillen writes it is just really straightforward. So there is very little narration. Like maybe there's a narration of location in Britain, or of whether you're in our world or the other world, and it's actually called Otherworld. And there is just not one thought bubble or one other bit of narration, right? So it's just action and words, and the words never get in the way of the action. The art's amazing. I don't really know Dan Mora very well as an artist, but just absolutely phenomenal. So I'd read issue 1 a couple months ago, and then I grabbed 2 and 3 and 4, and I read those last night, and then this afternoon I got myself through 5 and 6. 7 and 8 came out last week, so I'm caught up now. It's a great series. I really suggest it to anybody who's interested. The artwork's amazing. So you see the 2 main characters there in Arthur, in the reflection in Arthur's sword, are this grandma and her grandson Percival, and she raised Percival and basically fed him a bunch of lies throughout most of his life. There was nothing she told him, or a lot of what she told him was, omitting truths. There was not a lot of truth there. A lot of misdirections, and as each issue evolves, you get deeper and deeper into her family, her complicity in this story, her husband's complicity, who we never met, her daughter and her daughters, and then her son-in-law's complicity in how this evolved, and the story kind of just weaves really slowly but really naturally. The art is amazing. You look at this one and 2, the grandma with the sword and the reflection of the sword, and then this one here, the grandson. This is, it turns out, we didn't know at first, this is the grandson's stepbrother. This is my absolute favorite cover. It's a little less intense, but it's just grandma smoking her cigarette and the son with the sword, and he is presented in the beginning of the series as kind of a patsy, right? He's a little dorky. He trips over things a lot, and he's not smooth with the ladies, and apparently that was all by design. The whole idea behind the whole thing was she had raised her son in order to be able to successfully get the swords and fulfill some of the legends so that he could be the savior that fights against the forces of evil, he had to be pure of heart. He had to be a virgin. So the moment where he discovers that that was kind of intentional, and that and his girlfriend, who is also into the story, finds it out, he's like, I'm not going to let you embarrass me now, because I've been through enough already. It was kind of really funny. There was another great line in here, and I'm not going to spend forever looking for it. Just want to, if I can find it, I think it was in issue 4. If not, no, I'm going to go for issue 5. I'm just going to go check one more issue. This Arthur King, who is really dressed as like this this skeleton knight, really, really cool. He has a huge disliking, a distrust of anybody who is not an original Briton, anybody who's not born in the Isles. So the Saxons, the Anglo-Saxons, all of that is considered like things he hates. And the grandmother uses that against him to great avail, with an incredible line, which I'm not going to be able to find. Man, this is really poor video making, trying to like locate this for you. But if I could find that line, it was hysterical. So anyway, really suggest that you read this. Kieran Gillen and Dan Mora and Tamara Bonvillain. It's an amazing series, really, really good. I can't say enough about it. I don't want it to end. I don't know how long he has it planned going for. You could see it's the sort of thing where they could wrap it up like really quickly, or they could just keep going on and on forever. I don't know. Something else I wanted to talk about today. It's kind of interesting. Oh, that's good. I had a scare almost when I was looking through this. I shouldn't have put it back in the bag. Not a scare, just a jump. So I opened it up, and just look at this first page. It's called The Publishorial by Jeanette Kahn. That's really important. We'll get to that in a minute. But I open up and look at the next page, and this is issue 8. So it's kind of like the second arc. So there's a lot of like praise by comic book artists and writers for the first arc. And I turned the page one more time, and I got this Neil Gaiman, Sweet Dreams. I was like, holy cow, I've got a Neil Gaiman signature. I don't get signatures verified. I love getting signatures from people that I meet. Sometimes it's cool if you get a signature like this from somebody you don't need, especially when you're not expecting it. But I could care less if like the signature brings me, enhances the price, the value of the book in terms of price. Signatures are personal to me, and I love getting them in comics. I get so many signatures where someone's like, can't believe you had them sign that and didn't get it witnessed, or I can't believe you signed that. Where it's signed is not cool. So yeah, I love meeting creators and getting signatures on stuff. I mean, in the end, they're all just pieces of paper and color and words and drawings. So, you got to love them for what they are, and not for like the value that getting somebody to write on them can bring. But I looked it up because, I am concerned with value a little bit. I looked it up on Key Collector app, and they showed Sandman, and then they showed Sandman, what did it say? Hold on a second. There's 11. There's 12. There is 9. 10 is the other place. There's 7 and 8. So that means 6 is here. Here's 6. A little anal like that. So I looked it up, and it's $60 is what it's going for in perfect condition, and I got it less than perfect condition. But what really got to me was there's a variant. So I click on that, expecting maybe it's a newsstand variant or some special thing, and it's called the editorial variant. And I'm like, what the fudge is the editorial variant? So I started to do some some searching, and I hope that you can all see that my screen is now on another screen. Sandman version 2, volume 2, number 8, the Karen Berger editorial. So on the inside where I showed you that publishorial by Jeanette Hare, there were an initial batch of this comic where Karen Berger, who was like the editor of Vertigo Comics and one of the most amazing women, one of the most amazing people in comic book history for the books that she brought into being, she had written an editorial, and they show this on the side here. This is what should be on that first page, or what was supposed to be on that first page, the stuff that dreams are made of, and just this half-page editorial. If you ever find an issue of Sandman number 8 and you are looking, thinking about buying it, if you ever find this, buy it. Unless it's like several $100s, buy it, because it's worth several $100s. And so apparently they did not use it, but they were going to print 5 of them, because apparently you have to do 5 to get copyright. It seems like the printer, for whatever reason, produced 600. So 600 out of the, I don't know how many thousand, probably 15,000, 20,000 print run, 600 of these have this different page in the front. This is called the Berger editorial version of Sandman number 8. And so they were sent out by CGC, or they were sent out by DC for Neil Gaiman to sign at the California Comics Experience and Outer Limits in Los Angeles. So when I saw that signature on mine, I thought for a second that I had the error variant, not the error variant, but the editorial variant, and I was flipping out. And then I had to go back and read to make sure that I did not have the wrong one. So yeah, I have the normal one, which is still a book I've wanted for a while, and I'm glad I finally got it. But this would have been so cool to get. So I do have the signature, but it's not one of those 595 comics that are special. So if you ever come across Sandman number 8, check to see if it's got the Karen Berger editorial in a 9.8 fair market value, $4,000. I'm not going to sign in, so I can't show you that. So here's the CGC census on these. 9.6, 1,800, 9.4, 1,600, 9.2, 1,500. So the one I have is about an 8.0, but it's not the special one, so didn't get that. But I just thought it was incredibly cool piece of information. I wasn't familiar with it. I had never seen that before. Hey, Gray Man's here. So there were 2 copies in the shop, and now that I'm going back tomorrow to double check carefully. I will go to every shop I can find now, see if they have a copy of Sandman number 8, and check to see, because this is something I was unfamiliar with totally. And sometimes it means that you gotta do your research, right? There's no way that any one of us can know everything about comic books, right? There's just too many comics out there for us to know everything about them. That would be impossible. My knowledge is limited. I'd say there's very few areas in which my knowledge is even complete. A book like Die, I have every copy, every second printing, every variant. I'd like to think that I know a lot about that, but people have written essays and essays about the literary references that Kieran Gillen puts in there, and clearly people know more than I do about that. Miss Marvel Volume 3, I have that whole thing complete, every single variant, every single printing. I even have the Japanese trades, which are really, really cool. I'll get those down and show this to you in a minute. The last one I got was this one, which cost a good penny. This is a very hard book to get, because this was a 1 in 50 for issue 2 of a book that at the time wasn't a big book. People weren't going agog for this when this came out. So very low print run, very hard to find, and a really sought after book. But I only point that out to say, like, I've got every issue of Miss Marvel Volume 3. Doesn't mean I'm expert on that. So there's two things, Miss Marvel and Die, that I'm super into. And I'm not even close to being an expert on those things. And I'm sure you guys have things that, like, this is my niche. This is what I know. I can tell this printing, or I can tell that or the other thing. But, there's so much more out there that we don't know. So when I come across something like that Sandman variant and I get information about that, it kind of flips my lid. I go, whoa, that is super cool. Anybody who wants to jump on, by the way, click the link and jump on. I can't talk forever in here. I can go for maybe 20 minutes, half an hour holding court, and then I kind of lose steam, especially since I don't have much. If you watched my video on Monday, I dropped my hip hop covers. The hip hop variants are going crazy. That was the other piece of bullshit that I wanted to call out. And I don't know necessarily how to do this properly. Let me try it like this. So if you are familiar, let's see, do they have the categories on the... They don't have the categories on the website. So, the hip hop variants just went crazy this week, basically. I mean, I don't even know how to say it beyond that. They just exploded, seemingly out of nowhere. And, I think people like them, but I think people were not purchasing them because they didn't think that they were doing anything. And all of a sudden, this category, there we go. All of a sudden, this category pops up. Hello, welcome to the Bourbon and Bullshit Show. How you doing?
All right, mate. I'll bring the bullshit.
There you go. Please bring it strong. I was just talking about the hip hop variants, and when they added the category to Key Collector app, I think it was about a week ago, maybe even 6 days ago, this book was listed at 200. And so I was so super lucky. I was at a local shop and I said, hey, do you have any hip hop variants? And he goes, yeah, I got a box over here. So he pulled the box down. I went through it, and he had purchased this shop from a guy in January. So I went through the box and I found all these variants that maybe 2 months ago were worth a lot less, but now they're shooting up. I grabbed them. What really flips me out is 4 days later, instead of being listed at 200, this is now listed at 250. So it really brings up this question about Key Collector app, right? They say that they take these prices directly from eBay, and these are kind of like average prices in the low, mid, and high ranges. But after being on their app for 4 days, the average high price for this comic raised $50. What else was happening last week other than a category being added to Key Collector app to make that comic go up that much? So I don't know. Hey, Z. So I don't necessarily know if you can say that they're creating the false like interest in these things, but I think you could definitely say that they are responsible at least for a little bit of the increase in the market. That would be my guess. I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, not really. I don't use Key Collector app. I got it once and on one phone. I never found myself using it much, so I just didn't really bother with it. But yeah, I'm not really into all the specking stuff either, so it's a bit. I can't really sort of comment on it that much. There does seem to be a lot of suspicion that people are falsely boosting prices. From what I've seen from watching other channels and that, there seems to be a bit of speculation. The speculation is being tinkered with to make it seem like the book is more worthy.
It's hard to know. It's hard to tell. I mean, yes, anything Miles exploded once that Sony PlayStation 5 announcement came out, and then the hip hop variants came out again. I mean, that book that I just showed, it's gorgeous. I look at that, it's gorgeous. I looked at, I love Nas as an artist. I love the Illmatic, not as much as his later work, but it's an amazing book. I'm staring at it right now off screen, but and I probably didn't buy it in the beginning because my shops didn't get them. I didn't see them. Maybe I would have gotten it, maybe not. But had no idea it was a $200 book. Just no concept whatsoever.
How many of them were done?
What's that?
How many of them were done?
I don't know what the print runs were, but somebody wrote an article. I was reading an article this weekend, and they're like, these are taken off, but don't you remember there were a lot of them available? And he's absolutely right. You could get they weren't hard to find when they first came out. I think they were pretty well printed. I mean, there might be some they're hard to find, but for the most part, I think they were out there in numbers. I used to see them. So, for example, this one I absolutely love, the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill homage. I thought this was like a book I've passed up because I've seen it so many times, and $3, $4, $5. Tell me it's a $35 book now that everybody wants, and I'm like, that's insane.
I wonder if it's like a chance, like you get one chance to put it on a high price on eBay, and if somebody else sees that price, they think, oh, is that what they're going for now? And they put it at that price. It's like
that happens a lot. I think you're absolutely right. Like it's kind of like a self-reinforcing ecosystem. I'm just going to go with what Z's asking for.
What's he asking for? A-Force hip hop. I'm waiting for the heavy metal variants.
Yeah, that would be kind of cool.
I need some headbanger variants.
Z, you looking for that one?
All right.
Yeah. So I've got this one. I've got another copy signed by Adam Hughes and G. Willow Wilson. But yeah, hit me up on IG if you're interested in that, because this is my spare. I mean, this is a book I used to have 5 or 6 copies because I got them super cheap, and I thought this was a great book. I'm talking like 2 years ago. I thought this was a great book. I couldn't believe that more people weren't talking about it. So eventually I sold them for $5 each because nobody wanted them. And now all of a sudden, everybody wants them, which, it's legitimate. Z wants it because he wants it, not because he's just, reading Key Collector app. And I think it's a great cover. I'm just shocked.
I think these kind of price boosts sort of spread like a virus. The pricing is like a virus. Someone puts it and it catches, people start thinking, oh, this is worth more. I'm going to ask for more for it. And other people have got copies sitting around, go, oh, maybe I'll try and flog these for that price, It spreads.
Chad, what do you think about the hip hop variants? You a fan? Are you a collector? Do you have any?
One night we were going through those on Jig's channel.
Yeah.
And they were all ordering them and I didn't. Now I wish I would have.
Yeah.
Because they were getting them for dirt cheap prices at the time.
Yeah, they were.
Jigs and Weapon X, I think they bought one of it, each one. I think they bought one of every cover. I wish I would have jumped in on that, but I didn't.
Yeah. It's insane because like I said, a few months ago, you could have gotten them just super, super cheap,
Oh, yeah.
There's no way that they should have gone up in price then, is there, really? If nothing's happened to make them suddenly more worthy of buying, not suddenly got rarer or anything like that. So why does the sudden price boost? I think, like you said, it's just like a virus. Someone sort of tries to flog it at a high price and it just catches on, it spreads, because there's no reason why it would suddenly have gone up in price. There's not a movie or anything like that, is there?
Yeah,
I don't know if it's because Miles was attached to that a little bit, because everything that Miles is out of control.
That was part of it.
Yeah.
So, if you take Key Collector app at their word, they're aggregating prices from eBay. And it could be that the eBay ecosystem and the YouTube comic community ecosystem are kind of separate. and that people were paying prices for things that we were trading around freely for cheap amounts. And then all of a sudden, somebody alerted us that these were starting to be known. And I think that this being one of the top sellers, and kind of coming out at the same time, made people aware. And then, some of them still aren't worth very much, right? But a few of them, because what they did is they put the category on their app, but most of them are still listed as like a $4 or $5 book.
Right.
Some of them are $10 or $12. There's only a few that reach those like height past 25. So I don't think it's that out of control, but I think it's a little bit out of control. So, for example, let's see what we got.
Oh, I mean, I jumped on that, Miles. I went out and looked for Miles books too. I got a couple, and honestly, Tacoma, I am just going to try to list them on eBay and flip them because I don't really read the series, and I wasn't able to get any of the big money books, so I can show you what I did get. I got these all for like cover price. This one's really not worth much, but I thought it was like a cooler cover.
Well, I got that one. That's a nice cover. I like that a lot.
Got that one. Then this one's worth $50.
That one, is just becoming popular because of the subject matter.
Right, exactly.
That's one where it might not be worth that much 6 months from now.
Right. That's why I'm just going to try to probably flip these.
Yeah.
And then I think this is one of the cooler covers, but this really isn't worth that much. I think it's worth like $15.
See, I like that one too. Yeah. I tried to buy that for Mike Rogers last night. He had that on his auction.
Yeah. I mean, I paid $4 a piece for all these. So.
Oh, nice.
I can't be. I'll show you another book that I just picked up. I actually just got this today. Not Near Mint told me about this a couple weeks ago. This was on the top 10. This is an old book. It's Final Crisis issue 7. This is the cover A.
Okay.
And this went from a dollar bin book up to like a $50 book a couple weeks ago.
Any reason? Just because it's the last Final Crisis?
Well, I'm not really sure. This is the first appearance of Calvin Ellis, like Black Superman. So I don't know if there's.
Oh, is it nothing to do with the milestone? Is it nothing to do with milestone coming back? The DC imprint of all the black characters. Would it be anything to do with that?
I don't know. It just jumped up all of a sudden.
It was announced for something. I think maybe there were rumors on a TV show that they were going to.
That guy that played that Michael B. Jordan, the actor. Mm-hmm. Somebody was talking about him possibly playing this part, and all of a sudden this was a dollar bin book, and it jumped up to a $50 book. Now I saw it's back to like 15 to 20, but I got this for $5 today, so I figured, you never know.
That's cool. If you get it for that much, yeah.
But I kind of messed up with it. I told, because I said to the guy, "Do you have this?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "You have 2," because I was going to buy the second one and send it to Rob. Well, once I said that, the guy knew something was up. So then he went to the counter and he looked it up. And because at first he said I could have it for $2.
Oh, wow.
God.
Yeah. Then he went to the counter and he looked it up and he's like, "Oh, this book jumped up." So then he's like, "Well, I can't do $2 anymore."
See,
then he charged me $5, which kind of pissed me off a little bit because I thought, yeah, I mean, that's kind of shady when you say $2 and then you go over to your laptop and then go, "Oh, no, I can't do $2." It's not like he gouged me. It was only $5, but
that's their business. They should know,
right?
Like if we're going to do our research, we should expect them to do that. I'm in a similar boat. My LCS, not the one that I have my pull list, but another LCS in town. The guys there. Oh, I hate that layout. There we go. The guy there, he's brand new. He bought the shop in January, and then like COVID hit, and he had to shut the shop down. Right. And he's been organizing it. And he had about, and it looks so much better than it used to. And he's done a better job than before. Hey, God Tank.
What's up, God Tank?
But he's got these boxes and boxes and boxes of unsorted comics, right? And he's just been picking them up and putting them on the table and let me go through them. And so I bought him a stack, and I went there like Friday, Saturday, Sunday last week, like 3 or 4 days in a row. And every day I got some stuff, and I gave him a stack, and fake mustache. And he went through one, and he's like, all right, I got to charge you a little bit more for this, because none of them had prices on, right?
Okay.
But I kind of felt like he wasn't gouging me, and I knew he was new, and I knew he just hadn't had time to get to this inventory. It wasn't like he had put one price on and then he's going to change his mind. There were no stickers on any of the books. It was just, I think those are all cover price. But if you happen to find, something, let me know. So I kind of felt that was fair. And, he's been a really good guy. And look, he had this undervalued. I paid $4 for that. So
are you serious? That's all you paid for that?
I'm not going to complain.
Yeah, gosh.
I might try to get this slabbed and then sell it and then buy a raw. The only thing I can see that's wrong with this is there's like you're not going to see that it, right by my finger, there's a little white dot where like some rubbed off there.
Right.
That's the only thing, and so I'm tempted. I don't slab many things, but I'm tempted. So let's see what's going on here.
That's like
G is here. He says you should have put on a fake mustache to go back and buy the second one.
Well, he didn't have any more, but once I asked for that second one, then he knew something was up.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. And God Tank is here and Poke C is here. Yeah. So this one, a Roots homage. It's not worth a lot, but I kind of like it.
I think they're awesome covers. It's just at this point, I liked some of them, but I'm not going back and buying them at the prices that they are now.
The only one that I want to pay money for now is I sold my Spider-Gwen to Jay Blitz on Saturday, and I might want to get that back if I can get it for cheap. The only one I really want, though, is the Invincible Iron Man. The Riri Williams is a Missy Elliott album cover. That's great. This one went to a second print. The second print of this is worth like $45, $50. That's pretty awesome. This one's worth not much at all, but I love the artwork on this. Apparently the original artwork, this is some band called The Future, and the album's DS2. He just got a stock photo. A woman had dropped a bunch of different colored ink and water and swirled it around, and it was just a stock photo image you could pay for, and he just put that on his album.
Oh, really? That's cool.
Yeah. This is Run the Jewels, the third print, and the second print. I don't have the first print. This one is pretty cool. I was going to see these guys. They were supposed to open for Rage Against the Machine, but that concert never happened. It was supposed to happen in March.
I don't buy a lot of expensive books, Tacoma.
Yeah.
I buy a lot of. I have a bunch of $40 books. I mean, $4 books that turn into $50 books. Do you know what I mean? But I don't spend a lot of money on books, to be honest.
I mean, if you sell 3 of those, right, then you have $150. If there's a book you really want to go after, you can.
Right.
And it's a game. I don't, I flip on the small level. I try to. The Nas cover is hot. God Tank. I try to buy dollar books and sell them for $5, which is fun.
Right.
But it becomes a hustle. It becomes work.
Sure.
And luckily, because of COVID and because I'm a teacher with this summer off, I get, I have the time to do that. And as a matter of fact, I don't know. I'll go through these. You guys have seen all these anyway. I'm just going to dip down here because I think I dropped something that I was supposed to use for the show tonight.
How you doing, Gray Man? Never met you
I'm
before.
cool. I'm cool. I'm too lazy to do flipping. I can't be bothered. I've got a stack of doubles. I've got about 4 short boxes of doubles, and I've got a few other comics that I got in a lot that I'm not that bothered with, and I just can't. I'm just too lazy to put them on eBay. I did a big I did eBay for about a year, massively selling loads of old stuff and made quite a bit of money on it. And I sort of do something for a while, and then I get bored of it on like a 5-minute wonder, and I can't go back to it. And it's just I don't know what it is.
I used to sell a lot of sports memorabilia on eBay. I have a buddy that's a dealer, and I used to go in on stuff with them. But I haven't sold anything on eBay for a while. But I used to sell a lot on eBay.
Yeah,
their fees got a little high, so then I kind of stopped. But I heard now they give you incentives to get back in there to start selling again. So
Yeah, no, the what's it called? The eBay fees totally changed it. That's why that's why I do so much selling on IG. So damn.
Well, see, that's like those Miles books I bought. I wasn't trying to sell those to people in the community, because people in the community, I don't really know. I don't think they really want them. It's people I think that are hyped over the game and the movie that are paying those high prices for them on eBay. So,
yeah, I mean, I think it's a great cover. I think it's a great Adi Granov cover.
now, if I had somebody in the community that said, "Oh my God, I really want that book," I would probably sell it to them. But no one's really. I think the people in the community have seen it or had it, or you know what I mean. It's not a big deal to them.
Yeah. No. So yeah, I mean, I think they're definitely going to come down in price in the near future. There's no way they can sustain those prices. I just don't think that any of them are worth
now.
I don't think I'd ever pay over $10 for a modern book. It'd have to be something really nice to even pay that much.
Yeah, I think a few things will. I think a few things will maintain the price. I think the Miles is going to maintain the price for a while. I think it's a gorgeous cover. It's a classic album. Both Nas and Miles are from Brooklyn, so I think that one is always going to stick. But a lot of these, they're gonna dive in 6 months from now.
Well, yeah, because that's going to heat back up on the game where they released the new PlayStation game again.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I don't know how much more can go up, but it's incredible.
Yeah.
So let's just let me just do this for a second. How do I do this? I think I go like that. So
is that straight out of Compton? Yeah.
Yeah, Z wants that one. So let's go, and I'll go $5 less than Key Collector says it should be, unless it's insane. Then I'll go less than that because we don't want to go too much. So click, and the weird thing is their hip hop variants on Key Collector app. If you were to look up A Force One, they don't have it listed as a variant. They only have them in the hip hop variants category, which is insane. So there's the Spider Gwen. I got that listed at 40. I sold that to Jay Blitz for 25 because it was only listed as like 30 or 35 this weekend. Oh, dude. So I won't do what's it called? I won't do $5 less because it's listed as a $5 book. So if you want it for $5Z,
it's a cool book.
$5 less than that, but it's yours for $5. So just send me another $5. And you
wait a week, see if it goes up again.
Add it to his box, he said. He said, add it to his box.
Yep, nope, he's got it. Look, if it goes up again, I got my copy is not worth anything because it's signed without being witnessed, and that apparently doesn't do a lot for the value of comics, but I don't really care a lot because it's like I said, I like getting things signed. That's my thing. So oops, put that there. So the other one that is really big, and a couple of people have asked me for, and I've got two of them, is the all new Wolverine, which is a DMX homage, flesh of my flesh, blood of my blood. And I could care less about DMX, but I think just choosing this one, since she is flesh of his flesh and blood of his blood, was kind of inspired and looks really cool. So that's one. And yeah, I would love to see the print runs on these. So I don't know if you guys are familiar. The 8 here refers to, it's the 8th variant. Usually the higher that second number, the rarer the variant. So a lot of the hip hop variants, that's a 2, and it means that it's just like it's a mass printed variant. Okay. But when you get to an 8 like that, from what I understand, it means it's a less, it's a lower print number on the variant. So that might be one reason why this has gone up. I mean, the Miles though has a 2, so I don't even know. That one I just think is Miles hype, and Miles hype will die, but like you said, there's going to be a couple of cycles for it, right?
Right, exactly.
When the game's released, when Into the Spider-Verse 2 comes out. Right. If you ever bring him into a live action in the Marvel 616 universe, all those things will play a. You have a couple opportunities to sell and make some money if you want. Right. So I'm never selling that just because I'm a big Nas fan and I love the cover. Yeah, that's an awesome cover. That 2, the last digit's a 2. That's because this is the second printing. So the last digit is the printing, the one before the last digit is the variant, whether it's the second, the third, or fourth variant. So yeah, that's all my knowledge. But yeah, I just realized I threw it out. If you were here with me last Tuesday, and it looks like I've got a totally different crowd, I was going through one of those mystery packs that I buy from the local junk shop down.
Oh yeah, I did. I saw that video.
Okay, so out of that, right, I pulled some books that I was going to try to sell, and I think if I'd gone on a smaller auction, they wouldn't have sold. But Discovery Bay was having his pop-up shop, his marathon on Saturday. So I actually sold 2 of the small runs from there for $5 each. So I broke even. And then I brought 2 other books I sold in other lots with books from a different time. So I got a little bit more money then. I got the 2 books that I'm sending to Poor Man's Comics, and I got like 1 or 2 books out of that I want to keep. So you know, I $3. I'm gifting a friend a book, and I got a book I want to keep. So, you know, but then I bought this pack. The next day, last Wednesday, I got this pack for $10. All I could see was the front book and the last book, and of course, I was hoping that there was some Adam Hughes Catwoman in there because that would have been worth a lot. But there weren't. They were all junk. I tried to sell this. Nobody wanted it. So the little bit of money I made on the pack before this, I totally destroyed going for something like this. So, you know, that's why I play the game at a low level, because I'm not going to spend hundreds of dollars hoping to find a book. I'll spend $10 hoping to find a book.
That's why I'll never buy a mystery box.
Yeah.
They're just not for me. I mean, I know other people enjoy them, but it's not for me.
I've never seen a mystery box that I've gone like, oh, I wish I'd bought that, you know?
Yeah.
So
now tonight on Hack's channel, Z Collects and Hack both got a mystery box from the same place. And Z's box was really good. Hack's not so much.
Yeah.
So it's like the luck of the draw. I think there's like 1 or 2 that are good, and the rest are like mediocre. Always.
Thinking of doing a mystery box myself just to get rid of my doubles, but it seems like a lot of effort and a lot of like, I'm worried that people won't be happy and that kind of thing. So it's like, how much price do I put on it, and what keys do I put in it to make it interesting to people? That kind of stuff is I'm probably not going to bother. I've been thinking about it. I've been thinking about it for ages and submitted to a few people, but it's like,
it's okay.
I think the key with the mystery box is to be really clear and upfront. So a lot of people, when they do mystery boxes, people get mad because, you know, they pay $20 or $30 or $40 or $50 and they don't feel like they got that value.
yeah.
So were you running a mystery box where it was a bunch of crap with the chance of getting the one prize that is in one of the 10 or one of the 20 boxes, or were you trying to send out books that hopefully people want? And so I think some people are under the misconception, like somebody's got a grand prize and the rest of the stuff is crap, and they're just like, you know, you guys are taking a chance. It's like a raffle almost.
Right.
But sometimes people do say, hey, all these boxes are worth this in value. And that's great because it might say on Key Collector app that they're worth that in value. But if it's a book you don't want or a character you don't care about, you just got crap. And then, you know, all that value means is you have to resell it if it wasn't worth that to you. Otherwise, it's a junk book that you have. So,
well, some of those boxes, though, get out of control. So I've seen guys open $500 boxes.
Yeah, that's insane. If I had 500,
yeah,
I know what books I would be buying.
Right. I would rather take the 500 and buy what the hell I want. Do you know what I mean? That's
yeah.
But I mean, maybe that's for the collector that has everything. It's just fun. I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, money as well.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of money. The one that I go for is I've done the Key Collector boxes a couple times over the last 2 years. Whenever there was a Hulk 181 or a Giant Size X-Men 1 as a prize, those were the 2 books that like I've spent money on, and I've been able to sell the bits and pieces in those boxes and get my money back, but I've never gotten anything really outstanding, and I've certainly never won the grand prize. and all the books they put in their boxes are overpriced. They have store stickers on, and that's the price that you might have to pay if you go to a comic book store for that book.
Yeah, I was going to say, a lot of people look them up online and they're like £1 on eBay or whatever. But if you go into a comic shop, they want $5 for them. So people just take the lowest price and say, I've been duped.
Yeah, well, a comic book shop is the most expensive place to buy, comic book.
Now I have a question for you, either you two. Do you have any interest in any of those 2 books coming out tomorrow? Negan Lives, the gold or the silver?
Nope.
Yeah. Did you see what they're selling for?
I loved reading The Walking Dead, and I got like up through this. I was buying the trades. I got up to like the 28th trade, and I thought it was a great comic. I loved the show up through about the 5th season.
Yeah,
right up until Negan appeared. I just thought the show went downhill. I lost interest. I sold what little Walking Dead I had. And comic book wise, the trades I held on to for a while, I finally sold them. But I just have no interest in Negan coming back, or Negan Lives or whatever. Like the Walking Dead universe was great, and I'm done with it. I'm on to something else now.
Yeah, well, that gold 1 per store is selling for like $500.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And each store gets 1 gold and 2 silvers, and the silvers, I guess, are selling for like $150 on eBay already.
Really?
They were free to the store. So this is just a chance for the store to make some money.
Uh-huh.
So all the stores, they know like everyone that they're like listing them for 500. So every store, my store's like, oh yeah, he's like, everyone has them listed for 5. I think I'm going to try to get 500 for it. I'm like, good luck.
Yeah, maybe I'll go to my store when it opens tomorrow and see, but I doubt it. Yeah, I mean, the other thing is now that you got it. If you sell that on eBay, you got to give 10% to eBay. It's insane.
Yeah.
Hey, so let me just check the chat here. Welcome Chaos and Comics and God Tanker both here. They love to fight about ludocrats. Mark the Cuddy Sark is Chaos and Comics says that Nas cover is great. I agree. And Pope C loves the Run the Jewels. So there's the Black Panther Run the Jewels. There's a Deadpool Run the Jewels, and there's a Howard the Duck Run the Jewels, which is really interested. And then Z has gone off to bed. So good night, Z. Thank you.
See ya, Z.
Barbarian says the silver is down to 75. That's still not.
See, but see that dropped a lot from earlier this week. That was like 150 to $200.
Oh, people were specking on it though, right? Like,
yeah,
that was the price before.
Well, because they're so limited. But how limited really are there? If every store is getting 1 gold and 2 silver, there's a lot of stores.
Yeah, yeah, that is a lot.
How many copies is actually are there going to be out there of it? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I've got no interest, but if you've got like Jay Blitz is trying to collect every Walking Dead, so that would probably be of interest to him.
Right. No, he wants them both. Yeah, I know he wants them both.
I think Jiggs posted them. I think Jiggs got them.
Yeah, he got both.
Yeah. How the hell does
he got a hell of a deal on them?
Oh, did he really?
He spends a lot of money in his shop though too.
Yeah.
So they should hook him up.
So it's weird. This week is the week that that like Marvel and DC have no books coming out, right?
Yeah, I have 4 books to pick up tomorrow. That's it. 4 books that I want. Yeah.
I don't think I have any. I mean, I'll walk over to the comic book shop, but I'm pretty sure I've got I'm pretty sure I got the can opener, not the bottle opener. I don't want to leave the stream to go to the kitchen, but I
picked up a ton last week, and I have a ton next week of books. Yeah, this week's definitely a down week for me. So, Did you pick up a lot of books last week, guys?
I got
modern books.
I got Strange Adventures and a few others. I maybe had about five books. Tacoma's gonna destroy this bottle on the air. That is definitely the can opener. What the hell, man?
Well, hey, how about this? How about you go get your can opener? I'm gonna go get some more ice in my cup. How's that sound?
That could work, but I'm gonna.
All right, I'll be back in a minute.
I should know where the can opener on my
multi-tool thing.
Pope C says ahoy, Devil's Highway. Do you think the Walking Dead series retains a value? I think I don't think a lot of the later ones are going to retain value. I think that the early issues maybe first appearance of Michonne. A few of those will retain value, and that will be about it. I don't think you're going to find. I don't think you're going to find a lot of those retaining value, just because there's so many of them out there. You know, the first appearance of Princess. I mean, how many people have watched the later episodes of Walking Dead and even know who Princess is? I don't know the character. All right, I am going to go get a bottle opener. Hopefully, I don't lose any viewers. Great man, entertain everybody.
I'll sing a song. La 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 la. Let's show you some Captain Stranger. Let's show you what I'm currently reading. This is why I don't get modern books, because the old ones are better. So I've got a nice Phantom Stranger on full screen. Nice Phantom Stranger there. Another beautiful Phantom Stranger. I've got left to my own devices, so I'm just showing off some Phantom Stranger.
All right. Oh yeah, God Tank's getting his Buffy tomorrow. He loves Buffy.
Okay, cool. I wonder about some of these like books that are hot for ages, and then how long do they stay hot for? Like, I mean, why The Last Man? That used to be a really hot kind of comic, didn't it? But now, still people still talking about it. It's still going for a lot of money.
I'm sorry, which book were you saying?
Why The Last Man?
I don't read that. I've never read that book.
It's a great series. If you can pick up the trade, I definitely suggest it.
Yeah. But is it still hot though? Is it still going for big money?
Yeah, number 1 and number 2 are for sure.
Yeah.
Those are the two I don't have. I have issues 2 through 60, or 3 through 60.
Do you still read new too, Tacoma?
Still read what?
You read newer books too?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I get
love new books.
I get books every week from my pull. What's on my pull right now? Gosh, Farmhand is on. Once and Future Kings is on. Die is on. Outlawed, which is the Champions Outlawed run, is on. I probably have about 15 books on my pull. Lazarus Risen, but that only comes out 4 times a year now in like thicker version. Deadly Class is still on there, which is slow. Like Rick Remender has so many projects, so that's slowed down a lot, but that's still on there. I round down a whole bunch of stuff. What's up, Perry? I was reading like Black Science, that finished. Got really wacky towards the end. Paper Girls, that finished. It got really weird towards the end. Outcast, I couldn't do like the last 3 issues. It got really bad. So I had a whole bunch of comics come to finish in the last year that I was reading, and then I found out Farmhand. I guess I just never I never told my new store that I was supposed to be getting it. So so I thought it had stopped.
What's up, Perry?
It turns out that I had missed 9 issues of it or something. So like, I hit Midtown on one of those big sales they had during the quarantine, and like I got 6 issues of Farmhand I still have to read. That's how I got the ones in the future. Yeah, I missed a few, because I didn't have a list. I'd tell my store when you want to add a book. So when I switched stores to Stargazer, shout out Stargazer Comics, I just had to do it by memory, and I definitely missed a few things. Harry, what's up?
I don't know. I just seen the link. I was like, let me say what's up, man.
Are you after a movie right now that you've never seen before?
I just finished Black Panther.
Oh yeah? What'd you think?
It was pretty good. It was like really good.
Yeah.
It reminded me of like James Bond for a minute when he was like walking around and she was showing him all the different gadgets. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, this is like a total James Bond feel. I loved it. I loved it.
But to my kids who'd never seen a James Bond movie before, that was something
their experience. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, I was working the day, Perry, and I didn't get to see your latest video. What'd you watch? The Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, Return of the Jedi.
Did you shit all over it?
A little bit. Yeah, that was a little bit that I didn't like. Yeah.
I haven't watched it in a long time, so I don't know. To go back and watch it at this point, I don't know. Like at the time, years ago, I thought it was good, but
I feel like I highlighted the best parts. So
Yeah, I saw it in 1983, so it had really different resonance than
oh sure.
I'm
than
gonna check the video out there tomorrow because I'm off tomorrow.
nice.
Heck yeah.
But yeah, I still get books. I think Why the Last Man though, Gray Man, that's still the TV show is still going forward. Brian K. Vaughan said it's still happening. But issue one is
TV show in the works.
was that?
I didn't know there was a TV show in the works.
Oh yeah, so that's what's kept it like going. I mean, it was very few of those series that are super hot. Like most, we know most comics die off.
Yeah.
Paper Girls though, this the writer
Great read.
Paper Girls TV series just like put on Twitter a picture of the script, right, the front page of the script. So that just went back up to.
Is it going through with a show for Paper Girls?
He
Wow,
said
that's awesome! What a great book.
So that
If
went
any-
up
yeah.
to a $15 book, which is where it was a year ago. It had dropped down to like a $5 or $10 book. But you know, a couple of them, like Shoe Number 1 will stay up there. Why the Last Man will stay up there. Obviously, Walking Dead will stay up there. But some of these main series from Image over the last 10 years, with the exception of like Saga and Shoe, most of them are going to go down in price. Monstrous will maintain about $20 or $30, maybe $50. What else is Deadly Class? You can get issue 1 now for $10. Lazarus, you can get issue 1 for like $5. Chaos in Comics is eating pistachios. God Tank says still evening, but can't. Oh, he's watching Hannibal. So God Tank, tell us where you are. Have you anybody here seen Hannibal? The TV
I have not. Well, I heard I need to watch the movies before I jump
In
into
the
the show.
movies, I've never seen the show.
It's funny because the show
It's before the movie,
basically
right?
goes through. It doesn't get up to Silence of the Lambs, but it takes like the other 3 movies, changes a few things, and weaves its way through them. So they're separate things. It's like the movies are not canon to the TV show. So God Tank, I loved the first season. The second season was okay. I found myself doing a lot of this. And then the third season, I just could not wait to finish the fucking thing. It was so goddamn bad. So if you're
get new
watching
books,
Hannibal,
Perry?
enjoy season 1.
Are you going out for any new books tomorrow? Good ones? That's something that you want?
What's tomorrow? Just indies?
Yeah.
And Nail Biter Returns 2 comes out. Did you get that last time? That was a good book. First
I
one.
didn't. Books like that, sometimes I'll just if it gets good enough praise, I'll pick up a trade. But I didn't care too much to pick up the first one.
Yeah, there's not much coming out tomorrow, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Hannibal book was good, Chaos. I definitely like that. But yeah, the TV show it's rough. It starts off really, really great. The content in the beginning is great, and then it runs out of ideas, but I think it was doing really well, so they just wrote ideas to keep it going. It's like, oh, Pope C's got 10 books tomorrow. Pope C's.
Damn. Let me see what's
Andy,
actually coming out.
From your highlights you're picking up tomorrow. Yeah, I looked at my. Who just joined us? Mark's here. I hope you haven't been waiting long.
What up, Mark?
You're below on my computer. You're below like the first 4, so I just saw you pop up.
What's happening?
Not much. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Just lots going on at work, so just
Yeah.
busy. And I'd been like all last week. I was like MIA, and then when I showed my face, like Agu was like, "Dude, we thought you were dead or something."
Mark's like, it's so busy at work. Let me go on a live stream.
Nah, today's the
That's my
first
kind of
day. I was
work.
like, I looked at my diary and I was like, "Fuck, no meetings. This is amazing."
That's good.
Nice.
Hey,
And then my
half of
son
my
bought-
work day today, I kept looking, and Jigs was still streaming from last night. Like at one
Started
o'clock
late
in the
last night.
afternoon.
Right?
What's that?
He started real late last night.
Yeah, then they went to like 1 o'clock in the afternoon today. Half the day I was driving to my car watching it.
Seriously? I don't get no notifications for Jigs. I don't understand it.
I don't
I
have
miss all his streams.
I
Oh,
missed.
yeah. I heard other people say they don't get Jigs notifications either. I don't know why.
I
You know,
missed-
he doesn't set anything in advance, so it's just like, bam, Jigs is on right now.
even this show, which I do every Tuesday at 10 p.m. I don't have it set in advance, so I put something on IG this morning, and then I tagged Discovery Bay, hoping he'd promote it. But he only adds things to his live list if you've got like a premiere or a live set in YouTube. And I was like, I'm getting around to it, but it's not out before you.
That's my new notification. All I do is I don't even look at the homepage anymore. I just go to Discovery Base channel. I'm like, let me see who's live and scroll through that. To me, it's the most useful.
Yeah, honestly, I do the same thing, Barry.
So, how many of you, and if you didn't, and I'm not upset at all, but how many of you watched my hip hop covers video that I put out Monday?
I seen it. I haven't looked at it yet.
Right.
I saw half of it.
I don't know if it's worth like. I could have just gone live and been like, "Here's my hip hop covers," and then other people come on and show your hip hop covers. Like, I don't know that it was worth the editing. I mean, it looks kind of cool. I did a split screen, and on one side I showed the original album, and then I held up my comic on the other side, and I said who the artist on the comic was, who the artist in the album was, what year it was released. I don't know if it's worth the effort. I mean, I'm not a Perry. I have got 600 viewers. I'm happy with 600 viewers. Maybe 20 of them watched my stuff. I don't know.
I don't make content, so I can't comment.
Yeah, I don't either. I just jump on other people's live stream.
Hey, as long as you enjoy it, that's all that matters.
Well,
right?
yeah, I mean, exactly. I'm not. I don't. I think I'm exactly where I should be after doing this for 2 years and the amount of effort I put in. I just don't know if it's worth spending a lot of time on an edited video because I'm not as good at it as other people. I don't have the time, and towards the end, I just get frustrated. I'm like, I wish I was just doing this live. After about like an hour into the editing process, I'm just like, I wish I was live talking to people.
Yeah, why am I doing this?
Yeah. Everybody, take a look at Pope's list.
That's Terry every day. Why am I doing this? God damn it!
I was saying that this morning. Oh, Mario. Oh, the Negan books are getting hot, right? The gold and the silver color, ridiculous.
I never read any of the comics, so I'm not going to go buy a Negan book. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I never read Walking Dead.
Hey,
series.
Popes, how is that Billionaire Island? I still haven't read the first issue,
and I'm getting that's the one that I was going to mention. I'm getting that out of all
the Goon.
Yeah, I'll get the Goon tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm gonna go pick up the Goon. That's been a great read. I've been enjoying.
Billionaire Island is by Mark Russell, who he's got a run on Red Sonja. He did Lone Ranger. He did Snagglepuss Chronicles, which was great.
Snagglepuss.
That was really great. And then, is that still Perry? And then he did what's it called? In between. Oh, he did the Flintstones, which is really good. Paid in Full. Yeah, Paid in Full. I wish I could have done music. If I could have added music to the my hip hop variant show, that would have been great, right? But they just wouldn't let me fucking put music on. I'd get a copyright strike. Yeah, I like Billionaire Island. I like where it's going. Mark Russell, when he has to balance his satire with a good story, and when he gets it right, he gets it really right. Flintstones was great. Second Coming was absolutely great. I think his Red Sonja was a little bit off. His Lone Ranger was a little. It just lacked any interest other than being like a political parody, and it just kind of like hammered home the points too hard. But when he's on, he's absolutely on. Yeah. Hope
Mark
liked it too.
Mark, is your shops open yet?
So I've got two shops. One that was my normal shop closed permanently, and they've just gone online with no new books, only back issues.
That sucks.
So they'll probably fold all together, and then the only other store has been open the whole time.
I was on
a
live stream. Yeah, I was on a live stream with you one time, and you went to a nice store. Was that the one that closed?
Yeah.
Damn, that was a really cool. I remember that stream. Yeah.
Yeah, remember he was like walking all through the town. Yeah.
Apparently
Holy
they
shit,
just had
that looked like a nice
thousands and thousands of uncollected books.
Oh man.
Hey, you could buy all those books at a discount now.
I said, let me have a dig.
Yeah.
Just buy a couple long box lots.
I was like, let me have a dig. Yeah, so I've just been buying old stuff, like
there you go.
Oh, nice.
old
Really
Human Torches. These are
I
like
love how they used to draw
$5.
the Human Torch.
These are like $5.
Now, do you have the same problem that like Martin has, where there's not many
This one.
shops around?
This one.
Think you missed that. No, very cool.
Yeah, and then I was like, oh, I saw this. This was a dollar bin, but it was it's Art Germ. So I was like, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
sweet. How's anybody that reading the new Buffy? I got issue 1, and I was like, wasn't a big fan. I know Omega.
God Tank and
Guys,
Comic
yeah,
Tom
nobody
are the
talking
only
shit
two
on Buffy.
people I've ever heard talk about Buffy.
Don't be talking shit on Buffy, Tacoma. He'll come on here.
There's one Buffy album cover that I still need, and it's the one that's it's an homage to X-Men 160 whatever. So I'm only going to take 4 of these down. I've got like 10 of them, but this X-Men cover, what is it? 138.
Oh, I have the Buffy one of that.
Do you?
Yeah, I don't care for it. I'll look for it. I don't mind giving it to you.
Yeah,
I bought that. I was like, this is so cool. Then I'm like, I don't even like Buffy.
because I collect those. That's my jam, is collecting those. If you have that Buffy cover,
Yeah, you're gonna make me look for it.
that's awesome, dude.
Yeah, I've never read any of Buffy either. I'm sorry, God Tank. He always says it's great, but I've never read any Buffy.
Ooh, Pope C, Iron Man 54. That is the first Moondragon. I love Moondragon as a character, and I think she's going to show up very soon in the MCU. I think that Iron Man 54 and Daredevil 105 is the origin of Moondragon. I think those are solid books to get if you want to get some books that are going to increase. And plus, I love Moondragon as a character until the Ancient One came along and stole her whole bald-headed shtick. But yeah, Moondragon, I always remember from New Defenders. I used to read a lot of that in the 80s, and I really liked that.
Are you guys reading any of those Upshot books, the AWA books?
Yeah, that Year Zero I thought was probably one of the best ones.
Yeah, I think a lot of their books are really good.
What's that? Is
Red
that
Border,
the publisher?
Hotel.
The publisher's called Upshot?
What's AWA Studios, and then they have like a sub Upshot. They got a weird thing going on.
Yeah, it's a whole.
But they got money behind them because they're pulling big names.
Yeah. Well, TKO Presents has the same thing, right? They're the ones who do like the box sets and the large format comics, and they got Jeff Lemire, who actually got nominated for an Eisner for his stuff. Garth Ennis, like they get all these names, and they put out all 6 books at once, and you can either buy a trade, you could buy it digitally, or you could buy like a box set with the 6 things, and you can always read the first issue for free online, which is kind of cool.
That is
They put out some good stuff, and I think somebody told me they were connected to a movie studio, so they're literally just trying to create content to hope that they can make a movie, which I guess is a good idea.
A good
Yeah,
idea.
you're right.
Hotel.
Chaos
Yeah.
Hotel is awesome. Hotel
I
yeah.
haven't read the
Chaos
second one.
and Archangel 8 is awesome too.
That was
I
good.
love both
I
those.
gotta look for those then. That's really cool.
So look, Archangel 8 sold out. You're not gonna find it.
I'll
Did it
see,
really?
see if my
Yeah.
LCS has those.
Yeah, maybe they have it, but there's only 2 issues out, so you can get both of them. That's good.
Well, every week I email that LCS, hey, how you going with New Comic Book Day? Oh, yeah, we'll hear more next week. Waiting on Diamond. Like, yeah, cool. Okay, next week, how you going with New Comic Book Day?
Yeah.
So last week they were like, oh, next week we should have a delivery, and it's going to be everything that we've ordered since March.
Wow.
So I was like, hey, if you need someone to come and help you bag and board,
Yeah.
I'm so glad our
you just
LTS
shop
didn't
and
do
board
that.
every
That's
book
when you
before they
open
sell it.
your wallet, you're like, take my
Yeah.
money, please.
If I got hit with 3 months worth of comic books, holy hell, I just say I think I'm done because I don't want to pay 3 months of comic books at one shot.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Chaos said if he was wearing pants, he might hop on. You know what? If your
Chaos,
camera
I'm not wearing pants.
correctly,
I've
nobody.
had nothing since Venom 24. 20, yeah, which was March. Yeah.
He is pants.
Yeah, I don't think anybody noticed this. So I'm trying to think what else of course, once I get the shop and I see my books, I know that there's tons of them. But Magnificent Miss Marvel is a run that I really like. I think Saladin Ahmed is a writer that needs to be more well known or needs to be more popular. I think he does great stuff. He's a really good writer. He did a mini series for Boom Studios called Abbott that was just out of this world. I thought it was great, but yeah, he does some really amazing work. He's writing Miles right now, which obviously is popular, and he's writing Magnificent Miss Marvel, which is really cool. Anybody reading Invisible Kingdom?
Nope.
Dead Silence?
I'm waiting on Dead Dog's Bite from Dark Horse.
You know what? It's a pretty big book, and I don't know anybody else that reads it. I read Middle West, and no one else reeds it.
I need to.
Oh, you read it, Barry?
Yeah,
I love Middle West.
I'm so mad they're ending it with the next issue, right?
Well, I've been reading it in trade, but I love it.
Yeah,
and
they're ending it, which is kind of sad.
I need to get the trades. I actually really liked the first couple issues. I kind of dropped off at some point, but I thought that was really good. And when Scotty Young is not doing the like baby version of Marvel characters for a variant cover, I love his art. You know, I think it's great. Oh, Chaos and Comics is reading Invisible Kingdom. Yay!
I have this. I didn't read this yet. I didn't open it yet. But
That's awesome.
Is it?
You know, it's sad. I let my son read those. He's a huge fan of Fairyland.
Hey, if you don't want to read it, I read the first issue on my channel, and I show you all the panels and everything.
I just think his art's cool. I don't know.
It's a good book.
It's a really good book.
My son loved it. He's read through the first few trades. Whenever I find him in like the half price books, I grab it for him. You know, he was 12, but now he's 13, so I think it's totally okay and good parenting. But
My 7-year-old's been pestering me to read him Saga.
How old?
There you go.
7.
7? No.
And he's like, "Can I take it to school for news?"
No.
I was like, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Tell them to take the first.
Then I go, here, take Wolverine. Everyone knows Wolverine. Take that.
So let's just go back and hit the chat. Pope C is shouting out Ice Cream 19. Chaos and Comics mentions John Layman, who was a writer on Chew. He actually did, after Chew, he did a mini series called Eleanor the Egret, which was about this woman who is an art thief who had an egret living in her hair, which I thought was an amazingly good book, but not a lot of people loved it. And then Pope C says Middle West, and Chaos and Comics says Invisible Kingdom. Invisible Kingdom is G. Willow Wilson, who wrote the Kamala Khan Miss Marvels, the first 2 volumes, and Christian Ward, whose art I just love. And it's basically like this sci-fi space tale that does these real takedown of this interplanetary corporation that runs everything. And it's basically Amazon, right? She lives in Seattle, so like Amazon is really strong in her conscious. And so this it's basically just a parody or a satire of Amazon and the hold that they have on the retail market, but told as this religious sci-fi internet.
Is it this book?
Universe expanding story. Yes, Invisible Kingdom, right there.
I think I'll check it out.
Yeah, it's really.
I'll get the trade off Amazon.
Yeah, no, definitely. Definitely, I think it's a great read. It's winding down in like 2 issues, and so it's only 8 books. But I definitely suggest getting the trade if it comes. I don't know if it's gonna be 2 trades or if there's 1 trade for all of it, but definitely like it. Gray Man, is that sunlight or is that just like a light that's hurting your eyes? What time is it there?
It's 7:19 in the morning.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just in my bedroom. I've got a fluorescent light overhead. That's all. Just lying on the bed. My body is rich. I either get up like 5:30 in the morning, or I go sleep at 1 and wake up at 4:30. This morning I woke up at 4:30. So
you look the most comfortable out of all of us, for sure.
Well, yeah, I've got trousers on. Don't worry. Don't
Doesn't bother me. Anybody reading Mercy?
Yes, I love it.
I dropped
Yeah,
it.
I think Mercy is coming out tomorrow.
It got better, Perry. I know that first issue.
The first issue, I was like, all right, I didn't like the second one.
No, it was a little confusing, but now this 3rd issue got a lot better. Like it's starting to tie up loose ends.
A lot of books have been doing that, right? Like the first issue, they throw everything at you, and it's hard to see where things fit. And usually the first issue, it traditionally had made more sense, so you could follow it and want to get to issue 2. Now it's almost like they're hoping you'll get to issue 2, and that's where they start to resolve things. So things made more sense. Like characters that you met for the first time that you weren't sure where they fit, they really fit a lot better in issue 2. And then at the end of issue 2, they announced like this new group you're going to see in issue 3, so you get all confused again. But
Yeah, I know.
I like Mercy enough that I'm going to add it to the poll for sure.
Well, they're supposed to be adding to this series too, aren't they? God Country.
He said he's doing more. Yeah.
Yeah, which I love this. So
God,
can't wait for that
great.
too.
That was great. Where is it? So we're talking about Christian Ward, who's the artist on Invisible Kingdom. He did Odyssey with Matt Fraction, which I think is a great book. But the reason I love this so much is the inside cover. This is an indie book from Image, like 6 years ago. Is literally a 8-page spread.
You're going full screen.
Right, yeah, like I can't use my left hand. There we go.
I could always...
So to put this out in a book from a relatively unknown artist, 1, 2, 3,
That's
4,
nuts.
Yeah, that's awesome.
5.
I wonder if you could buy that in a print.
7, 8. He had him at Rose City Comic Con. I met him there like 3 or 4 years ago. He did have that, but so basically this is a space retelling of the Odyssey in a universe that only has female characters, and if that is not crazy enough, he also writes the entire thing in iambic pentameter.
What
Wow.
does that mean?
I don't really-
I don't know what Aramic pentameter is.
That's the meter. Like, so certain ancient poetry has meter, like Shakespeare writes in some sort of pentameter. Iambic pentameter is what the Odyssey was written in, I guess. And so
Is it not the Iliad?
the Iliad, sorry.
Yeah.
Alien.
It's like timing flow.
It's insane.
It's above my pay grade, Perry.
Yeah,
So
I
how
think
does
I'm
it
up
work?
there.
There's no males in it then, because it doesn't start off with a Helen of Troy and men fighting over Helen of Troy. So is it all lesbians? Is it or?
Yes,
Right.
but it's also they retell the story in space in a sci-fi way. So they're basically taking this story and retelling it, but they're also reshaping it so it's a totally female-only universe. So it's really, really crazy.
Oh, Perry's listening now, and you said lesbians.
Or is it just that there's no male characters actually in the story, or there aren't males in the universe, or are they saying there are?
As far as there's no males in the story, and there's definitely, as far as I know, there's no males in the universe at all.
Okay. How does that work? Cloning?
I don't. They don't take the time to explain it. They just say,
Right.
"Here you go, read it."
Fine.
I don't know, but I wanna.
It's different. I liked it because it was different, but yeah, it's really crazy.
Has he got the same names from the Greek Iliad, like Achilles and all that, or is it just
No, they're changed in a way that the description of the character lets you know who this character is supposed to be representing, but they're not like one-for-one names, or they're not just switched out. So yeah, it's pretty cool. God dang tells Mark to calm down.
It's a challenging read.
A challenging read is one way to put it. But again, I think that at some point you read enough comics that are linear and are straightforward and the story's familiar, that reading something like that is fun. I read Johnny Cates' new run on Thor, and it's really cool. And Thor as a Herald of Galactus is really cool, and he's bringing these new characters in, just like he brought Nolan to Venom. He's bringing Black Winter into Thor. But basically, it reads like a Marvel story from the 80s. and I don't mean that pejoratively. I don't mean that in a bad way at all. It's a fucking good series, but it's not like it's groundbreaking so much as he knows how to handle these characters and these stories really well. But sometimes you want a Thor, and sometimes you want a female space retelling of the Odyssey in iambic pentameter. I guess.
Do you like Strange Adventures?
I did not read issue 2. It's upstairs. I should be reading it now. I should stop the stream half an hour ago. Go read it. I didn't like the first issue a lot, but I liked it enough to give the second one a chance. So here's Joe. I forgot to do this, by the way. Iambic pentameter is a line of verse with 5 metrical feet, each consisting of one short or unstressed syllable followed by one long or stressed syllable. For example, 2 households, both alike in dignity. That's from Romeo and Juliet. Right?
Yeah, even with the explanation, I still don't get it.
Me too.
Yeah, thank you.
I took Latin for 5 years in high school, so I get a little bit more of it, but it's very fuzzy in the back of the brain. I
You did
don't
Latin
get
in
it.
high school, did you say?
What's that?
Did you say you did Latin?
I took Latin, yes.
What?
So I could take Latin, Spanish, or French. I took Latin in middle school in 7th and 8th grade because I hated all the kids in my school and I didn't want to be like everybody who was taking Spanish or French. And then in high school, I took Latin because the Latin teacher was hot.
I know. I took Spanish. All the dipshits took Spanish.
Turned out she turned out to be her daughter became my best friend. So my best friend's mom was my hot Latin teacher in high school. But you know,
Awkward.
yeah.
Did you see
You got to deal with what you got to deal with. I don't know. Somebody's saying something mean about Perry here.
That's the wheel. Yeah, you're gonna get it, Joe.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind reading a comic like that.
I think Pope C means Mr. Miracle, but if he does mean Miracle Man, then I give him credit for that.
I heard that was a good book.
Which one?
That new one that just came out from it. Is that Miracle Man? Mr. Miracle Man? Just came out like 2 weeks ago.
I don't know. Miracle Man was
My Image.
no. You're talking Adventure Man.
Adventure Man. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Adventure Man is really good. Adventure Man is I thought it was very straightforward. So it's Matt Fraction and the Dodsons on art, and so they did like X-Men when the original X-Men comic was winding down. They did a whole bunch of issues from like 490 to 500 or something that were really good. Terry and Rachel Dodson are beautiful artists. I liked Adventure Man 1 a lot. It was a lot of fun. It's a very familiar story. It's very much what's the one with like Mark Twain and
Finn?
the what?
Huckleberry Finn?
No. The one where they took all these characters from different areas of like.
The Gentleman?
Yes. Adventure Man felt like that a little bit to me. But yeah, it was really good. So yeah, Sleepy Reader corrects me. Miracle Man was Alan Moore. I thought Neil Gaiman did some of that too.
He did. I think he did. Later
I've
on.
I've got to get ready for school pickup.
All right. Well, yeah. Don't.
Hey, Mark.
Have a good one, Mark.
See you guys.
Here we go.
Yeah, I think Chaos in Comics has it right here. The art was beautiful. I think that Fraction prides himself so much on a great concept that I don't think he saw how this story was kind of, I don't know. I've seen this story before, right? There's this woman who works in a bookstore, reads books to her son about this supposedly fictional universe of Adventure Man, but apparently they're real, and they come to recruit her into this, group of storied superheroes. It's not a new story. It was done well, and the art's beautiful, but it's not a new story. But I'm willing to see where it goes and read a second issue for sure. I know that a lot of people did like it. White Whale Comics liked it. Some people thought it was really great. So You know,
I picked this up last week, and this was pretty good. Sleeping Beauties. Did any of you guys pick that up?
I did not.
That was
No.
pretty good. You might want to check that
Was
out.
it?
It's actually was a pretty good. It's a quick read, but it was a good read. I thought.
okay. Who's
I
it
think
by?
it's actually a Stephen King and Owen King.
Huh.
I don't know if it was a novel that they did together. So I think it's based off a book, maybe that Stephen King did.
Is Owen King like Joe Hill's brother or another?
It might be. I'm not really sure, but I think it is after like a Stephen King novel.
Okay.
Who the hell's calling me at 2:30 in the morning?
It's your wife upstairs saying,
I know.
"You're not coming to bed."
She's saying, "Shut the hell up."
All right. It's my time. It's 11:30, which means I've been going for an hour and a half. Anybody got anything new or refreshing or interesting to add to our conversation?
I've made anything new or refreshing all day, so afraid not.
That's all right. Well, I'm going to wind down then. I thanks everybody for being on the panel. This is nice when I get people joining me on the panel. It's a Stephen King adaptation. Chaos and Comics knows everything about books. Sometimes it seems.
Yep.
Perry, thanks for joining us. I think it's your first time here. I know Chad's been here a few times. Grayman's been here once before. It's nice to have Perry stop by and tell us about movies that he's.
Was I here before?
What's that?
Was I here before?
I've been on a panel with you somewhere. I just give myself credit and assume it was my show, but I could be wrong.
I don't remember.
And to everybody in the chat, Mark and Chaos and Pope C, Sleepy Reader, Joey. Let's go back up. God Tank and everybody else who showed up. Pope C, I already said. Thank you so much for being here. Hopefully, I will catch you guys again. I will be back next Tuesday, hopefully, with some bourbon and not beer for another episode of Bourbon and Bullshit late at night. Peace.
See you guys.
Bye.
Cool.